In ancient Indian mythology, the Ashta Siddhis are 8 yogic superpowers, abilities like levitation, shape-shifting, or summoning infinite strength. Literally, they sound like pure fantasy. These concepts are rooted in classical philosophical texts, which describe them as the fruits of intense meditation. But today, many spiritual leaders translate these exact powers into a psychological recipe for succeeding in high-pressure environments without the typical burnout. Grab a pen and a piece of paper. Think of a specific project you're working on right now that feels overwhelming. We're going to use this ancient framework to map out a path through it. Translating these mystical texts into a structured mental model helps bridge the gap between abstract philosophy and your daily to-do list, offering a clear starting point for even the most high-pressure assignments. Step 1 involves the first 2 siddhis, Mahima, the power of infinite growth, and Anima, the power to shrink to the size of an atom. We can view these as metaphors for your perspective. Draw a line down the middle of your paper. On the left side, write down the most ambitious version of your goal. This represents your Mahima. On the right side, write down one specific, humble action you can take today. This is your Anima. We often shrink our goals because we're afraid of failing. The goal here is the opposite. Keep your vision massive, so long as you keep your ego small enough to admit what you don't know. Balancing extreme ambition with extreme humility creates a psychological buffer. It allows you to pursue high-stakes results without the internal pressure that comes from needing to appear perfect. Step 2 uses Garima, the power to become infinitely heavy and immovable. On your paper, write down 2 core values or project boundaries that you refuse to compromise on. Defining these heavy anchors simplifies your workday. When a difficult choice arises, these boundaries act as a filter, automatically removing options that don't align with your core intent. Now consider Prapti, the power to reach anywhere, and Prakomya, the ability to obtain anything. Psychologically, this means training the mind to focus on one thing at a time, rather than scattering your energy across 5 different tasks. Identify your single most important task for today and write it down as a fact. I will complete X. Avoid using hesitant language like I'll try to or I hope to. Clarifying these absolute boundaries helps reduce the friction of decision-making, allowing you to move through a project with more deliberate intent. For step 4, we look at Lagima, the power of weightlessness. Write down one way you'll intentionally inject lightness or humor into your routine today to counteract the physical tension of work. Finally, step 5 involves Istva and Vastva, the powers of leadership and influence. Look at your goal and write down exactly who this project serves other than yourself. This shift in perspective is illustrated by a contrast in the ancient epic, the Ramayana, which shows the different ways power can be used. The king Ravana sought power for himself, driven by personal greed. Because his motives were self-centered, his reign was marked by the constant stress of maintaining control, which eventually led to his downfall. Hanuman, on the other hand, performed his feats entirely in service to others. This selfless motive allowed him to lead without the burden of self-interest, earning him the genuine loyalty of those around him. Shifting your motive from self-advancement to service helps share the mental weight of a complex project, as the pressure of the outcome is no longer carried by your ego alone. Your paper now shows a complete plan: massive ambition balanced by humility, heavy anchors, singular focus, planned lightness, and a motive rooted in service. By prioritizing these principles over your own anxieties, you have used the logic of the Ashta Siddhis to structure a more resilient workflow for your project. Keep this paper visible. When pressure starts to build, go back to your heavy anchors and planned lightness to keep your perspective grounded. These ancient superpowers offer a practical architecture for modern work, providing the mental clarity required to stay focused when the weight of expectations begins to pull you down.